Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Eliza at Eliza's Reading. So today we're going to be talking about some other fall hopefuls that I may tie into my Black author fall hopeful TBR as well. So of course you already know these are really nothing but thrillers because nobody's trying to read no romance. So I'm actually going to start with the 3 romances that I actually picked out. Now, y'all, I'm not saying that I'm trying to like read all these in 1 month, but these are just hopeful. So I may pick from my Black author stack and then I may pick from this stack. No, I'm not trying to segregate. No, I'm not trying to segregate the authors, if anybody is wondering. It's just that I did a separate video for all the Black authors so that I can highlight all the Black authors that I'm hoping to read by themselves, if that makes sense. So pretty much the 3 romances that I have for the fall is Wild Side by Elsie Silver, Fall I Want by Lyra Parrish, and The Beloved by J.R. Ward. So of course I threw in some contemporary romance because I'm like, hey, why not? And the reason why I picked Fall I Want, because y'all look at it, it's so pretty. So I picked this one up. So this is basically about a billionaire getting a fake girlfriend, but of course you already know he ends up falling in love with her because he didn't think that he was gonna like her. Like, I absolutely love like that fake dating trope, and then they end up like actually being together. Like, I don't know, I love that type of trope because it's so funny. Another trope that I actually love is like that enemies to lovers trope, and especially when you know it's like really predictable. So that book seems really predictable because it's like a billionaire is going to get a fake girlfriend, and then all of a sudden when they start having commonalities or they have similarities in their experiences and things that they like and things that they do, of course they're going to fall for each other. And the sprayed edges eat. So then the next one is A Wild Side. This is actually book 1 in the Rose Hill series. I actually have book 3, which I didn't realize I had book 3, so I had to go back and get book 1. So this book is about Ford Grant. He's actually a billionaire opening a recording studio. He ends up meeting a 12-year-old girl who's claiming that he is her biological father. So I absolutely love this. I don't know, this definitely give me like autumnal vibes. So I cannot wait to get into this one because everyone says that these books are really good, so I can't wait to get into this. And you have Beloved by J.R. Ward, which is, I think this is actually an urban romance. And this book is about, she's the blood daughter of Zadis, who has led a sheltered life, protected by her father and the Brotherhood, kept away from the deadly war and the lessening society. One night she gives in to her restlessness and comes face to face with a man whose inner darkness rivals even that of her sire's horrific origins. Nate is a fighter with nothing to lose and nothing to live for. So I definitely think this is going to be like forced proximity and they're going to fall in love. So I absolutely love predictable endings and I'm here for it. And I actually did look this up, y'all. Obviously this is a standalone because this is like a whole series of like, I think it was like 22 books in like the series. There's no way I'm starting from book 1. And I actually think this is, I looked it up and I actually think this is, I don't know which one this was. I think this was the 21st book because this literally just came out in 2024. So this is just gonna have to be a standalone for me because there's no way I'm starting from book 1. So the rest of these are pretty much thrillers, and I do have one historical fiction, but it may be like a historical fiction thriller. So this is called Bag of Bones by Stephen King, and I actually got this from Ollie's. I'm in the process of actually taking the stickers off, but it says 4 years after the sudden death of his wife, best-selling novelist Mike Noonan is still grieving, unable to write and plagued by nightmares. However, Mike returns to the lakeside to get away. He finds his beloved Yankee town held in the grip of a powerful millionaire whose vindictive purpose is to take his 3-year-old granddaughter away. So I absolutely, like, I love Stephen King, but sometimes his books just does not do justice, and I'm really trying to get more into his writing, but I usually like his movies better than his books. I've only been able to read one of his books, which was Pet Sematary, and I actually enjoyed it. So I love his movies. So I'm really wanting to get more into his literature than just looking at the movies, because sometimes we all know that the movies can be totally different than the books. So this is going to be a test of whether I really like his literature or not, because I've read also The Gunslinger and I did not like that book, but I cannot wait to get into this to see if it's like really good. So now we have The Oregon Thieves by Chip Jones. So when I saw this, I was like, I definitely want to read this. This is definitely, to me, I feel like this is historical fiction, but I feel like it's also thrilling as well. It says, on May 25th, 1968, African-American factory worker Bruce Tucker arrived in the emergency ward at the Medical College of Virginia with head injuries that proved fatal. But his body was found later, but when his dead body was later sent to the funeral home, it would be missing its heart. So this is definitely about like organ trafficking. And I cannot wait to get into this. I definitely cannot wait to get into this, because I know it's going to explore like the historical aspect of organ trafficking when it comes to like people of color. So the next is Ghost Camera by Darcy Coates. And Darcy Coates has been recommended like time and time again. And I'm really wanting to really get into her literature, because I keep seeing her books and I keep hearing how great of an author she is. So this says, when Janine finds an abandoned Polaroid camera, she playfully snaps a photo without a second thought, but then there's something wrong with the image. There's a ghost in the background watching her. Y'all, this is really right up my alley. Like, this is like Friday the 13th type of vibe that I'm trying to get. So I absolutely love the cover, and I cannot wait to get into this. So now we have The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. Y'all, I've gotten into Frida McFadden like so heavy. I even have my coworker now reading her books. Right now, my best friend is actually reading The Housemaid, because I told her I want us to read The Housemaid Secret. So this is about Sydney Shaw. Like, every single woman in New York has terrible luck when it comes to dating. However, her new boyfriend is perfect. He's charming and handsome, and he works as a doctor at a local hospital. Then a woman is murdered. There's a twist, because however, the boyfriend is not who he seems like he claims to be. So like I tell people all the time, if it's too good to be true, then it probably is, and I can't wait to get into this. So now this is going to be my first book by Riley Sager. I've heard so many great things about Riley's literature, and this is called Middle of the Night. It says, the worst thing to ever happen on Hemlock Circle occurred in Ethan Marsh's backyard. One July night, 10-year-old Ethan and his best friend, a neighbor, Billy, fell asleep in a tent set up on a manicured lawn in a quiet, faint New Jersey cul-de-sac. In the morning, Ethan woke up alone. During the night, someone had sliced the tent open with a knife and taken Billy. He was never seen again. So y'all already know I'm into that thriller mystery era. And I'm literally going to be eating these books up, because I missed my thriller so bad. Last month, I was reading fantasies. Some of the fantasies were good, but they just weren't hitting it like my thrillers be hitting it. And I cannot wait to get into this. So let me know in the comments if you like Riley Sager. So the next book is by Hannah Morrissey. It's called When I'm Dead. This is actually a part of a series, but I think her books are really standalone books within the Black Harbor series. So this says, on a bone-chilling October night, medical examiner Rowan investigates the death of a daughter of a best friend. Hours later, the tragedy hits even closer to home when she makes a devastating discovery. Her daughter, Chloe, is gone, but not without a trace. And Hannah's books are pretty good. I would definitely recommend these thrillers for people who are starting out reading thrillers, because her books are really light. They're not as horrific and really heavy like some thriller writers, So if you are like a beginner thriller writer, I definitely suggest read Hannah Morrissey's book, because they are really good for beginner thriller readers, and I absolutely just love them. I'm not going to say out of the ones that I've read, which I've only read one, which that was Hello Transcriber. That one was a 4-star. There was only a couple things about the character I didn't like, but I'm still excited to read this one. I absolutely have this one also on my Kindle, so I have the ebook as well. And I really wanted the physical copy, so when I saw it, I decided to get it. And of course, I got this from Books A Million, but totally worth it, so I can't wait to get into this one. So now, I've not read anything by Grady Hendrix. I've had this book for like 4 months, and I have not read it yet. It's called How to Sell a Haunted House. And someone actually told me this was one of their favorites of his writing. So when I picked this up, y'all, it's been months, and I've been trying to read this and read this and read this, and I think this season is like the perfect time to sit and drink some coffee or drink some cappuccino and sit by the fireplace, get a blanket, and read like this mystery, because I'm not looking for anything to be cozy. I don't really do cozy thrillers. I'm wanting something that is going to have me chilling in my bones. When Louise finds out that her parents have died, she dreads going home. She doesn't want to leave her daughter with her ex and fly to Charleston. She doesn't want to deal with her family at home. Stuffed to the rafters with the remnants of her father's academic career and her mother's lifelong obsession with puppets and dolls. Most of all, she doesn't want to deal with her brother Mark, who never left the hometown, gets fired from one job after another, and resents her success. Unfortunately, she'll need his help to get the house ready for sale, but it'll take more than some new paint on the walls and clearing out a lifetime of memories to get this place on the market. But some houses don't want to be sold. So I definitely already know that this is going to be some spooky house. This is going to be like a spooky house type of mood, where the house creaks and it's telling you I don't want to be sold, because yeah, I can't wait to get into this. But the next book I actually talked about in one of my hauls. This is called Fever House. So a guy named Hutch goes to this house to collect like some overdue like money. And then what he ends up finding is a severed hand in, I think, the refrigerator, but the hand induces like violent tendencies. Y'all, when I say that is the most weirdest thing ever, and I think that's what made me pick up this book, because I really want to see like how violent and how thrilling this book is actually going to get, because I am definitely here for it. There's also like some detective, investigative, procedural things within this book as well. So that's also why I decided to pick it up, because I love when like law enforcement is involved in books. So I mean, even the cover looks crazy, so I can't wait to get into this one as well. So I also had this one in my last book haul. This is Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, and I've heard so many great things about this book as well. This is actually, I think, a horror novel. It says this chilling historical novel is set in the nascent days of the state of Montana, following a Blackfeet Indian named Goodstab as he hunts the fields of the Blackfeet Nation looking for justice. It begins when a diary in 1912. It begins when a diary written in 1912 by a Lutheran pastor is discovered within the walls in 2012. It unveiled a slow massacre and nearly forgotten chain of events that goes back to 217 Blackfeet dead in the snow, told in the transcribed interviews with Goodstab, who shares the narrative of his peculiar and unnaturally long life over a series of confessional visits. So I actually love like cultural folklore. So this is definitely giving like Native American folklore vibes, and I absolutely love that. And I think I said in one of my other videos that another book that had some Native American folklore was Apostles Cove by William Kent Kruger. But I really just didn't like the writing style of that particular book. But I enjoy the cultural folklore aspect of the Native Americans within the book, which actually gave the book like a more historical perspective of like their culture. because they even had like Native American names within the book. So I absolutely love that, but I didn't like the book itself. So the next book is called You Killed Me First by John Mars, and Danny Reeves loves John Mars. So I've actually had this for about 3 months and I haven't picked it up yet, but I definitely decided like, hey, I want to go ahead and read this. It says, it's November 5th and a woman awakens to a nightmare, bound and gagged. She lies trapped in the heart of a towering bonfire. As the smoke thickens, panic sets in. She's moments away from being engulfed in flames. How did it come to this? So I absolutely picked this book because I love when there are secrets. I love hidden secrets, especially thrillers that have hidden secrets. I definitely love when books have like these smoldering secrets between friends, between family. So I cannot wait to get into this. And then I absolutely love the cover. Like, I love the cover. The cover is saying, read me, then let's get spooky. So I cannot wait to read this, y'all. So we are literally almost finished. We have 3 books left. So CJ, so if no one saw literally like my introductory video, when I first started my channel, I talked about some of my autobiography authors, and CJ Box is definitely one. One thing I love about CJ Box, I wonder if his picture is in here, y'all. He literally reminds me of Walker, Texas Ranger. So I'm going to show y'all his picture. He literally reminds me of Walker, Texas Ranger. So this is the Joe Pickett series. So the only CJ Box books that I read is really the Joe Pickett series, because I love that game awarding aspect, like pretty much like that Walker, Texas Ranger vibe that he has in his books. So Joe Pickett in all his books is a game warden. So he basically just enforces like the laws surrounding like hunting season, basically like protecting certain types of game, like game as in like certain animals. I absolutely love these series, because even though it's like that Walker, Texas Ranger, so if you've ever seen Walker, Texas Ranger, you already kind of know like what the show is. But then when you throw in like someone who's a game warden, it's like he ends up solving like these mysteries behind with like game intertwined with like human murders. So it's y'all would literally have to read it. I'm saying like all his books are good. The last book I read was 3-Inch Teeth, and y'all, that one was really good. So this is called The Disappeared, and then it says this is called The Disappeared. So this is actually part of the Joe Pickett series, and you can actually read these as standalone. You do not have to read these in order of publication. Wyoming's new governor isn't sure what to make of Joe Pickett, but he has a job for him that is extremely delicate. A prominent British businesswoman never came home from the high-end guest ranch she was visiting, and the British embassy is pressing hard. At the same time, his friend Nate Romanowski has asked Joe to intervene with the feds on behalf of an issue passionately felt by Falconers. It seems like a matter of lesser importance to Joe right now, but the more he digs into both cases, the more someone is trying to stop him. So I absolutely love CJ Box's book. So now y'all already know that I love J.D. Robb. This is called Passions in Death. So if you don't know, J.D. Robb is actually Nora Roberts. For those who do not know, that is her pseudonym for her In Death series. And she literally comes out with a new book like every 6 months. And I think, I'm not sure what number this one is, but we're actually up to 62 books right now, because I think she has a new book coming out like literally early next year, which is crazy. I cannot even keep up. I think I have about half of the series, but they're a little bit hard to find because the ones that I'm looking for, I can't find those literally like on sale. So y'all already know, like, she started writing this In Death series back in like 1995. So just imagine how she has 62 books. So just imagine like how long it's going to take me to actually accumulate all of them. But I actually need to start reading through my physical TBR of them. So that's why I threw in one of hers for the fall season. And it says, on a hot August night, Lieutenant Eve Dallas and her husband Rourke speed through the streets of Manhattan to the down and dirty club where a joyful, boisterous pre-wedding girls' night out has turned into a murder scene. Y'all, when I tell you Roar is like super rich, like I absolutely love the futuristic elements within these books. So it's almost like, even though she wrote this, I think like last year sometime, like between this year and last year, let me see, because I don't want to get to lying. But I think this came out this year. No, okay, I was right. This actually came out last year. So even though this came out like last year, her books are literally like identified in the era of like 2052. So it's so futuristic because he has like all this equipment in their home that he helps her solve like these murders. But the thing about Rourke is that he is always somehow tied into knowing these people who have been murdered, which is also really cool because then you have to look at him like he's a suspect as well. And when people ask me where should they start with J.D. Robb's books, I would definitely say, in order to understand her story about her childhood trauma and about like her friendships and her connections that she has with people that are still like intertwined in her stories, even though now we're 62 books in, I would definitely tell people they need to read the first 3 books in order to understand the key players that are still in her books now, like 20 years later. So I absolutely can't wait to get into this one. Literally, I don't think I've ever rated any of these books less than like a 4-star, seriously, because I know what to expect when I'm reading, which is why J.D. Robb in this series is like an auto buy for me. So now the next book is Bury My Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I did not get a chance to read this last month at all because it took me 6 days to read Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. So therefore, the 3 days that I was supposed to spend reading this, I was reading Deep End because I was just determining to finish that book with those bad characters. But anyway, this is actually the last book that is hopeful. I've been trying to read this like for a whole month and I have not been able to read it. This is about 3 different women in 3 different eras. So in 1532, Santo Domingo de la Calzada, a young girl grows up wild and willy. Her beauty is only outmatched by her dreams of escape. But Maria knows she can only ever be a prize upon games played by men. And then in 1827, London is a young woman who lives an idyllic but cloistered life on her family's estate until a moment of forbidden intimacy sees her shipped off to London. Charlotte's tender heart and seemingly impossible wishes are swept away by an invitation from a beautiful widow. Then in 2019 in Boston, college was supposed to be her chance to become someone new. That's why Alice moved away across the world, leaving her old life behind. This is a story about life, how it ends, and how it starts. So I definitely want to get into this. It says 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. One grows high, one grows deep, one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. So I'm just joking with y'all, but I cannot wait to get into this. Y'all already know this gives vampire vibes, so they all grow teeth. And actually, it said it was a signed copy. Let me see if it's really signed. Oh yeah, it really is. Look. But anyway, so these are my additional fall hopefuls. So let me know in the comments if you've read any of these. Let me know in the comments what are your fall hopefuls and what are you hoping to read this season. I'm not trying to say that I'm about to read all these. That is not, no. Like, let's be for real. I work, y'all. I literally work. I got a 50-hour week job. So I'm not about to sit here and tell y'all I'm reading all of these. These are just some recommended books that I want you to take into consideration for the fall season. And maybe you can add some of these on your TBR if they excite you. But put in the comments below what's on your fall TBR. What are you hoping to read? What are you most excited to read? And y'all already know, put the book emoji in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you don't want to subscribe, you don't have to. But just make sure you come back and engage. And until next time, thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.